Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Bible study for everyone. Today is day number 15, and so we are in Acts chapter 15. Once again, I'm Matt, and I'm going to be your facilitator today. So, Acts chapter 15 starts with a disagreement between Paul, Barnabas, Peter, and the Pharisees. And so the discussion was about whether or not Gentiles needed to be circumcised. And so the result of this was that Peter, Paul, and Barnabas reminded the Pharisees that it says the Gentiles were cleansed because of their faith. It says in verse 9, and he made no distinction between us and them, having cleansed their hearts by faith. And then it follows in verse 10 saying, now therefore, why are you putting God to the test by placing a yoke on the neck of the disciples that neither our fathers nor we have been able to bear? And the point here is, why are they adding these burdens unnecessarily? God says we're saved by faith. So why are we trying to make new rules that God didn't say? And so the word of the day today is going to be faith, because we need to be reminded that salvation is through faith. And then once we accept God and we accept the sacrifice of Jesus, then we can be filled and cleansed with the Holy Spirit. This all comes from faith. It doesn't come from us doing something like getting circumcised. And that was the point that Peter, Paul, and Barnabas wanted to make here. And so then the chapter continues on and the ministry continues. That's the point of the end of this chapter. What happens is Judas and Silas are selected to go to Antioch and help continue to spread the gospel there in place of Paul and Barnabas. And then we see a little bit of a disagreement between Paul and Barnabas, which causes them to separate. And so Barnabas takes Mark and they go to Cyprus. And then Paul takes Silas and they go to Syria and Cilicia. And it says, the last verse of the chapter in 41, it says, they went strengthening the churches. And the ministry continues. And so I just want us to remember that disagreements happen. There's a disagreement between the Pharisees and Paul, Barnabas, and Peter. There's a disagreement even between Paul and Barnabas. And so these are healthy. We should have these conversations. When there's questions, ask them. But don't let it get hostile. Remember that we are rooted and grounded in our faith. We are saved by our faith. And some of these gray areas, let's try not to let them weigh us down. It's good to ask questions, but don't let them become a burden. Have faith in your life. Remember that salvation comes through faith. And we'll talk next time. See you guys.